What's up YouTube, Yugs here, and welcome to another episode of Inspired By, a series where Matt and myself take concepts from video games, comic books, movies, anime, and other media and try recreating them in the Unreal Engine. In this episode, I'll be creating a version of the Green Lantern ring. So, what does the ring do? It gives the user a lot of different powers and abilities that allows them to become one of the most powerful beings in the universe. In this video, I'm only going to focus on one aspect of the ring, which are the energy constructs it allows the user to create. These constructs are the physical manifestation of any item that the user can think of. The size and complexity are effectively limitless as long as the user has the ability to keep the construct from breaking. So the constructs I'm going with are a boulder used as a basic projectile, guns for a more advanced projectile, a sword for a melee weapon, and a shield for defense. With the constructs decided, let's get into making them. First on the to-do list is creating the basic attack. For this, I just need to create a simple actor blueprint that will be spawned after the player clicks the left mouse button and the attack animation is completed. Once spawned, it'll move forward away from the player until it hits something and then destroys itself. This is actually the basic premise of all the abilities except for the shield. With that said, each one has a little tweak here or there that makes them slightly different from each other, but for the most part, they're the same. For the guns, the main difference here is that when they spawn, they then spawn their own projectiles. These projectiles work the same as the basic attack. They move forward from the gun's location until they hit something and destroy themselves. The difference with the sword is that it doesn't despawn after spawn again like the others. Instead, it stays attached to a socket I created on the character mesh, and as long as the sword is out, you can't do the basic projectile attack. Instead, when clicking the left mouse button, the player does a melee swing with it. Clicking the sword ability a second time will despawn it. The solution I came up with for the shield is putting a sphere mesh on the player that is scaled down to 0 from the start. Then once the player clicks the shield ability button, I use a timeline to scale the shield up or down in size depending on if it's already in use or not. So that's pretty much it for the abilities. Next on my to-do list was to update their visuals. The first change I made was to update the materials I was using on the models. Going into this, I had zero knowledge of how the material system worked in Unreal, so I needed to do some research before I started doing any work. What I did know was that I wanted the models to be green, have some opacity to them, and materialize when spawning in. Unfortunately, I wasn't really able to find a way to get all three, which led me down two different routes. The first route was me following along to a YouTube tutorial I found by Ashford, which gave me a nice hologram effect. I was going to combine this with the scaling idea I used with the shield to create the effect I wanted, but I was never really satisfied with it. This led me to route number 2. This route involved using the Materialize asset by W3 Studios. I like this effect more since it allows the object to slowly build itself over time while spawning in. So after going over the documentation and tweaking some numbers, I was able to get something that I think looks pretty good. The last change I made was to add some particle effects to the boulder and the gun's bullets. This is another area where I'm not well versed in, so the effects are pretty basic. Each are omnidirectional burst effects that spawn some particles once the object hits something. For the boulder, it's smaller versions of the boulder, and for the bullets, it's bright green sprites. Unfortunately, I was having weird issues with the boulder effect where it wouldn't spawn in the proper location on different maps, and when it did, it had some weird flattening effect. I tried fixing the issues, but due to time constraints, I had to remove it. So with the abilities updated, there was only a few tasks left to complete. That was to update the character with the new model and add a power ring to it, grab the bunker map from Starlight Arts, and place some stand-in enemies around to test everything with. And with that, let's see what the final result is. Thanks for watching another episode of Inspired By. If you enjoyed the episode, it would really help us out if you click the like button below. If you want to see more episodes in the future, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to receive notifications for whenever we release a new video. We also post behind the scenes looks and updates about future episodes on our Twitter, which you can follow by clicking the link in the description. Until next time, stay safe and see you next video.